Here we go, on our way to Louisville. It's the Kentucky Derby. What are you doing in here? Kentucky Derby bandwagon. Hey everybody, I'm Michelle Yu. Thanks for joining me on Stop to Smell My Roses, or some name like that, brought to you by My Racehorse. That part is for sure. We're going to go over the Kentucky Derby prep from last weekend. There was only one, but it was quite the doozy, if you ask me, and I do say so myself. It was the Louisiana Derby, and everyone was going, oh yes, no Bob Baffert. So they took my little cards, they chucked them out the window, and what did you have? A West Coast shipper go to the front and wire the field. Now, to be fair, this was definitely not a paper play, right? This wasn't I just ignored Michelle Yu and, this horse did something he was supposed to do and we let him off with it. This horse hasn't been on the lead. We didn't think he was going to be on the lead. He didn't break great. He got kind of pinballed around. And then he sat outside the speed horse, Right and Just, right? And then Right and Just goes, oh, did you want the lead? Oh, you can have the lead. And Right and Just kind of tucks out of there. And all of a sudden, Hot Rod Charlie's on the front end. Now, literally, I was so confused about this. I said, is Joel Rosario still on this horse? I looked, I didn't recognize Joel in the front end. It was very shocking, kind of confusing to me. Thankfully, John Dooley was like, and Joel Rosario on Hot Rod Charlie goes on.
Out in front, it's still Hot Rod Charlie who leads here for Joel Rosario. Hot Rod Charlie tracked by Midnight Bourbon.
And I was like, okay, good. I didn't miss a late jockey change, but he goes up there and he wins the race. Honestly, I think he looked fantastic. This is a horse that, since they have routed him on the dirt, he pretty much hasn't done anything wrong. He hasn't been the absolute best, but he got a dream trip. He was so much the best at the end. I think that we can all agree 1000% that West is best. I will give another kudos to the Brad Cox camp because after their good horses are getting beat because Mandaloun was in that field, they were like, no excuse. I don't know what happened. And Brad even said, I'd love to have an excuse. I just don't have one. I very much appreciate that. Sometimes horses just aren't the best. Maybe it's that particular day or whatever the reason was. I appreciate that sentiment. It wasn't like, oh, this went wrong and we got to choose something. I mean, whatever. Thank you, Brad Cox, for just saying, oh, well, we lost. So overall, the Kentucky Derby bandwagon like this. So what do we have here? Well, let's see. Okay, well, everyone was on the Life is Good bandwagon. Okay, that's no more because in case you didn't hear, Life is Good is out. He had a chip and a high-end ankle. He's had some surgery. He'll be back later, but no more Kentucky Derby for him. Let's see. Everyone was on the Mandaloun bandwagon, right? They jumped right on him after the Risen Star. Now they're like, get out, Mandaloun, get out. Because all of a sudden he got beat with no excuse, and it's 6 weeks of the Kentucky Derby. Now, he has been nominated, or is going to be nominated to the Lexington, which is on April 10th, I believe. So we'll see if that's going to be a pit stop on the way to Derby, or if that's going to be kind of the ultimate race for him. We're not entirely sure yet, but I think a lot of people kicked him off of their Kentucky Derby bandwagon. But now a lot of people are like, Hot Rod Charlie, you did so good there. I like you, Hot Rod Charlie. So he's in the bandwagon, right? Also, I think Essential Quality still has to be in the bandwagon, even though he got beaten. He's champion from last year. He really hasn't done too much wrong, per se. I mean, we were disappointed in his effort, but could he move forward? Absolutely. And if the Brad Cox team is going to persevere with him, I feel like a lot of people are going to keep riding him as well. And then here's mine. This is the Medina Spirit bandwagon. Everyone, move on. Everyone make room for Medina Spirit because right now, no one else is putting Medina Spirit in this bandwagon, right? I've been on this Medina Spirit bandwagon, but now there's no Life is Good. And, Medina Spirit's going to come and he's going to win the Santa Anita Derby like we know that he can. Johnny V's going to come in front of town and ride him. I think a lot of people might be jumping on this $35,000 purchases bandwagon. So there's our Kentucky Derby bandwagon. We'll see how that continues on. Mandaloun, maybe you should sit right here. Maybe you're on the outskirts. Maybe? Okay. Coming up this weekend is going to be actually a plethora of Derby stakes. It's going to be the Grade 1 Florida Derby. It's the Jeff Ruby Stakes at Turfway Park. It's the UAE Derby, and it's also the Fukuryu over in Japan. all of those to get Derby points for the first Saturday in May, which coincidentally is the very first day in May this year. It's actually May 1st. I think that the Florida Derby is lining up to be a super intriguing race, right? So we actually have Bob Baffert sending a horse out. It's going to be his first Florida Derby starter. He's never started a horse in the Florida Derby. He generally tends to stick to Derby preps that are, west of the Mississippi. He does have 2 Pegasus World Cup victories there, and also his very first Breeders' Cup victory did come at Gulfstream Park, so he is familiar with his surroundings. But it'll be interesting because he's sending Spielberg, we saw recently finish second, and he didn't have a great trip that day. He kind of reminds me of Improbable, that he's a little naughty out of the gate. I don't know. He's a very workman-like horse. If these people on the East Coast don't, let me just get close to the mic. I don't know if this horse should be on the lead, but if he is, do not let Bob Baffert get loose on the lead. Don't let Bob Baffert get loose on the lead, people. Don't do it. Because if for some reason Spielberg is on the lead, he's going to rout the field. It's just going to happen, you guys. So put some pressure on him. Throw something else out there. If you have another horse, enter a rabbit. I don't know what's going on, but definitely something needs to occur. And he's going to be taking on the King of Miami, greatest honor for Shug McGahee, who everyone loves because Shug is amazing and he's cleaned up over there, and we'll see if he can take on some of the challengers from the best coast, which is the West Coast. So that was a recap as well as a preview and even some bandwagon news for you. Hope you join me next week here on Stopping and Smelling My Roses.